She's was sharing that she's been an entrepreneur her whole life. Her family was entrepreneurial, so she came from that mindset. Her mind got set. That set point was go out there and do it on your own. Most people don't, well, not most people, a lot of people don't get that from the get-go. They have to struggle to be an entrepreneur. And yet her dad had this message that you needed to lean into him, that the family needed to rely on him. There were 4 girls. So you can see the incongruity of a message of go do it, but wait, right? We all have that in some form or another, I can assure you. So the conversation is just about revealing that Mylan mindset for one, and by the way, her dad's been deceased since 2006, so he's not even here to impress that upon her anymore. It's impressed in the Mylan. And so it's just a matter of knowing that that synapse is firing from here and jumping over to there, and it doesn't pass go, it just goes straight for it at that point. And all of the conversations that you have going on come from that place. Don't kid yourself that they don't. And it's not that they can't be changed. They can be changed in an instant. They could. Most of the time, most people have to take a different path or tact. They have to practice this from the perspective of just having a different conversation with yourself. And so that's what this whole thing is about, is having an opportunity, having a safe space, and having the ability to take your businesses, if you have businesses, to take your lives, to take your jobs. You know, I mean, I've taught people how to interview and get jobs if they want to be in the job field. I've taught entrepreneurs how to build their businesses. And the fact is that the more successful their mindset is, the more successful they are. It's just a simple equation. So as we go through this process, you get an opportunity, even if you're already at a certain level of success. Everyone's got that wealth set point, right? I mean, people that are millionaires, still when I coach them, they're like, I just want to get past that set point. And the fact is that everyone has a set point. Whether it's $10 a week or it's $1 million a month, they still have a set point. So if you want to change your set point, it's just about having a different conversation with yourself and allowing other people to support you in that. Because no matter what kind of profession that you want to be in, and using Dan's book, all of these talented people, Olympic athletes, professional sports teams, they all have what? Coaches. And they also have a team that they work with. So getting that support and having that ability to be coached and to be coachable. It's always about uncovering what's going on first, though, because you don't know where to start if you don't know where you are. And if you don't know where you are and you don't know what those thoughts are that are creating the experience for you right now, there's no way that you're going to be able to change it. And I'm a really big, I sometimes feel like I bash affirmations. I love them, okay? And I actually, if you want to leave your name and email later, I'd be happy to send you my affirmation, my wealth affirmation MP3. You can plug it into your iPod and just, you know, take it on a hike or do it while you're working out. And at the same time, affirmations are not the only thing that need to be done. You have to get into a feeling space of being wealthy and have what it is that you want, and happiness. You have to act as if. This is one of the best things you can ever do for yourself, is act as if. And as I started to tell you about the TED Talk, this woman did this, this research on body language, and what she discovered is that our bodies follow our minds, and our minds follow our bodies. And the fact is that I was watching a Cesar Millan dog whisperer a number of years ago, and he had this very shy dog that would put its tail between its legs, and so he's got all of his bag of tricks that he uses, but all he simply did with this dog was take its tail and hold it up. And the whole ecology of the dog changed. And he said, if you just change the body language of the dog, the dog's mind will change. And years ago, I watched that and I thought, you know, there's got to be that same thing that works in a human being, right? The tail thing. And I didn't know. I mean, I'm not going to research it or anything, and apparently someone did. And this woman, the social psychologist, she discovered that there are confidence poses and there are insecure poses. And they've done this study, I think, no, that was the Riverside, was the happiness one. She did this study, and that these poses actually change the hormonal chemistry of your body. And that confidence is registered as having testosterone. Thank you very much, gentlemen. That even women have testosterone in their body. That when you are confident, you have a high level of testosterone and you have a low level of cortisol. And when you're nervous and when you're afraid, you have a low level of testosterone and a high level of cortisol. That's why cortisol is not a good thing to have. And they were able to pinpoint that to various poses in your body. So, everybody can stand up. This pose, everybody go like this. This pose is a pose of confidence. Anything that's open, that's big, where you take up space in the room. So what they discovered is that if you do this for 2 minutes, that you actually physiologically change your body. Now, we don't have time to do it for 2 minutes, but I'm going to suggest that you do it for 2 minutes, and you can all sit down. You've all probably seen this pose, right? This kind of a pose. This is not a pose that gives you confidence, right? So ladies, particularly, when we cross our legs, we have a tendency to bring and concave our body. So that's just one of the poses, and I invite you to look at that TED Talk. But I found it so interesting that you can begin to change this by actually moving your body in a specific way. And put those confidence poses into practice, especially before you go see a client, or you were to have a job interview if you were a JOB person. And really put yourself in that space, go to the bathroom, and do your power pose, and then walk into the meeting. Because it actually, they did the studies with interviews, with people having interviews. And that the people that had the poses before that were actually said, the interviewers said, because they, you know, it was a blind study, they just seemed so self-assured, they seemed confident, they felt like they were comfortable in their own skin. It's like all those things that we want to be, but those are the places that we begin with this process. So not only do we get information about what it is that's going on up here, we begin to move it forward in a specific way so that you can change it and change your state. Because there's a couple of things that need to happen in order to break up these myelin patterns. You can't just think your way out of it. You can't think your way out of it. What you have to do is you have to begin to practice the principles of wealth and abundance. So some of those principles is that whatever you focus on is expanding. And this is you can call it a spiritual revelation, you can call it a scientific revelation, you can call it a philosophical revelation, or, you know, just positive thinking. You know, positive thinking got a bad rap somewhere along the line. I'm not really sure why. And the fact is that science has proven this same principle, that there's just one energy field out there. There's just one energy. And so you can call it God, or you can call it universe, or you can call it energy, or you can just call it mind. Because this mind thing up here has got a lot of energy that it propels you to do things. And what happens is if you begin to focus on what it is that you want, you get to expand that and see more of it. And when you focus on all those things that you don't want, because I have lots of clients that come to me, and in the beginning, their conversations are, I got no money in the bank account, my house is about to go into foreclosure, I just can't close any deals, I can't get any clients, and these conversations just perpetuate themselves. So the first thing is begin to notice the conversation that you're having with yourself on a daily basis. Because if you're having a conversation with yourself on a daily basis that's promoting that you don't have, guess what? You get more of that. And if you focus on what it is that you want, and not from the perspective, I'm not here to tell you that I've got a magic wand that you're going to manifest cars and houses and all of those things. I'm talking about focus on what is the feeling that you want to have for this happiness. Because you can create that experience for yourself right now. I can actually have you do that for a second. You just close your eyes. I want you to think of an experience that you've had in your life. Just tap into an experience that was either the most awesome experience, the funniest experience, the most exhilarating experience, the most loving experience. Just an experience in your life that just sent you over the moon and that you were so out of your mind with happiness that, frankly, the world wasn't even existing around you. You can feel that in your body right now. And as you go to that space, I want you to just take in the people that were there, the smells that were there, the music that was there, the sounds, whether you were indoors or outdoors. Just feel what that feeling was like. Where were you in that moment? And then just open your eyes. You know, the fact is that that experience, that feeling that you had at that particular moment, you're not in that experience, but yet you can recreate it in your mind right now. And you can do that at any time during any day, especially when you're in the I have not thought process. So I want you to just take another quick second. I'm going to have you close your eyes and just think about some of the conversation that you wrote about, or the ideas on the prosperity quotient that you did. And then I'm going to ask you a couple of questions and see if you can get some insight as to where some of those ideas might have come from you. So just close your eyes for a second and consider how your mother, or the most significant female in your life as a child, might have completed these statements. Just what you think she might have said. Life, and fill in the blank. God, and fill in the blank. And what would she have said? I am. And then what would she have said? Money. And fill in the blank. And then just imagine that your father, or the most significant male in your life, what he might have thought or said when you say life, and just fill in that blank. And God, and fill in that blank. And I am, and fill in that blank. And money, and fill in that blank. And just open your eyes and just know that you have an impression about what you think they thought, even if it wasn't what they thought. And that is a really great jumping off point for you to begin a conversation about what it is that's keeping you stuck. Because you have every answer to every question that you will ever ask. It's just a matter of you getting out of your own way to hear the answer. And so what I am envisioning, this is a place for you to have those answers revealed, for you to get out of your own way, to support the people that show up. And the way that I'm going to do this, and you can play or not play, is that I'm going to give you each a 3x5 card if you wish to play. And for each week, what we're going to do is give, you're going to put your 3x5 card in a basket, and then you're going to pull a 3x5 card out. And that is going to be your prosperity partner for the week. And what that person's there to do is to hold you accountable for whatever you want to be held accountable for. Because the fact is that we don't hold ourselves accountable enough. So it's really great if you can get somebody to help you. You can talk about the things that we discuss. So the topic this week would be talk about your prosperity quotient that you filled out, the things that are coming up for you. And this isn't a therapy session, it's not a bitch session, it's not about, please help me. And I encourage you, if you find that your partner's doing that, this is an opportunity for you to be courageous and say, how can I help you? How can I support you? And how can I hold you accountable for what it is that you want to be accountable for in this week? So maybe you want to be accountable for being happier, just generally speaking, every day this week. Maybe that is your focus. Maybe your focus is that I want to get 5 new clients. It's perfectly acceptable for you to be accountable in that level. The fact is that if you don't ask for accountability and help, you ain't gonna get it. And the fact is that we have a tendency, especially entrepreneurs, and people think that they know stuff, to do everything on your own. And unfortunately, I have discovered that that doesn't work very well. And we came to this planet, for whatever reason, to be in community with one another. And in that community, we get to help each other. So, if you're can you pass this out? In that support, it's not just about one person, me, or any speaker that I bring up here, to give information. It's about giving information, it's about tapping into places that you may not have thought about in the past. It's about really understanding that there's an opportunity for you to engage and to support each other. So with that, I'm going to open it up for any questions that you might have, and then I'm a real timely person, so we're just going to make these an hour and get in and get out. So if you have any questions, your name and your phone number, or sorry, you're waiting for instructions. And if you are that type of person that says, I don't like to communicate by phone, you can say, I like to be texted, or I like to be emailed. And the fact is that what I'm going to suggest is that 100-pound phone sometimes can be challenging. And yet, it's reaching out to get somebody's support, to lift you up, to keep you focused, to move you in the direction that's going to build wealth in 2013. And one last thing that I want you to do for yourself, so I want you to get this in your mind, and you can write it on your quotient. I want you to write down, actually I'm going to put it in a number figure because, sometimes we want to talk about money. It's not like I don't ever talk about money. I want you to write a number down that you'd like to achieve this year, an intention. Because as you write that number down, you're declaring it to yourself, you're declaring it to the universe. You can talk about it with your prosperity partner if you like or you don't like. But the fact is that I want you to make a commitment to yourself so that you have a focus and a drive, because we will have intentions as we move forward, that you have an intention of where you're going. Because if, we can talk about platitudes, and I'm very much about consciousness and spirituality and oneness and science and all of that, and yet at the same time, let's be definite. So write a number down that you want, and you don't have to share that with anybody at this point.
I'm sorry, you're talking about financial health?
Uh-huh.
And what exactly do you want on the card?
Name and phone number.
Name and phone.
Yep. Lenore, do we have a basket?
Yes.
So we're just going to put them in, and then we're going to have you pull one out. And you know, the interesting thing is, I don't know how many of you have been to workshops or things where you get in partnership with people. You always get the perfect right person, no matter what. And I used to bitch and moan about that a lot years and years and years ago, because I'm not getting those right partners. And you know, after a time, I'd always figure out why I had them. So they're always the perfect divine right person. And what I would say is, hook up with your partner right before you leave. Just say hi and make a commitment to get in touch this week. And if you